everybody, and welcome to the IWC Radio podcast. Joining me, as always, Chucks and Will on this, actually, it's been a pretty nice day today outside. So, like, we got coated with snow, like, last week. In fact, that's kind of part of the reason why we didn't do an episode, is because of the weather being, just absolutely awful. And, it's actually in the 50s here, which is like, I don't know, 20 degrees Celsius over there, I believe. Something like that.
How's that possible?
I don't know. The best part is, like, tomorrow it's supposed to drop like a rock and then, like, a dusting of snow. Again.
After being 20 degrees.
Yeah.
Huh.
Crazy.
Well, global warming, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pretty much, yeah. Let me see if that's right.
I'm all for it.
All right, 20 is a bit generous. How about that's still a little bit high. 10 degrees Celsius. Sorry, I was a little bit off.
Okay, so, well, still, I think it was about 10 degrees here. I can't really imagine it snowing. It was fine.
Yeah.
Felt fine.
Yeah, just the wind. The wind was what was killer. Will was here. He heard like a glimpse of it. It was like rattling on the back side of the room here.
I wasn't actually there. I was on Skype.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could hear it in the call. But yeah, apparently also another thing throughout the week, I couldn't stream because of the internet. What I thought was the internet signal acting up. Turns out it was a loose wire. So the repair guy came out. He checked all the diagnostics outside, and when he got inside, he just took a wrench. I don't know if it was a wrench or pliers, but he cranked that sucker on the back of the modem tight enough to where he was like, "All right, it should be tight. Just make sure if you're gonna loosen it, you're gonna need like a pair of these to undo it." I'm like, oh.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
Right.
When something doesn't work and you call it in and they show up and it's like, it's just turned off. God damn it.
You should have done this, dumbass. Like that's pretty much how I felt.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like, do you want to just cut my balls right off and take them with you, or like?
Yeah. Apparently, yeah. Fortunately, since it was like, a technical issue or nothing, they weren't like making a house call on something that wasn't branded by them, so technically it should be fine. If there's like anything else, just let me know. All right, sure thing. So that's partially. It's been a weird week, honestly. Yeah, the blizzard on Saturday last week was part of the reason. Chucks, you weren't here because you were on call for something. And
yeah, that's right. I was on taxi duty. I totally forgot what was going on last week.
Yeah.
I was going to get pissed with you and Will for having some kind of chat without me. So Will heard the wind and what the hell? What's going on?
Yeah, he
cozy over there.
He also set up a tree, I believe, right?
I did. My tree is now up. Yep.
Oh yeah, she didn't mean.
I took a very blurry photo of it for you.
I don't know about that.
You don't know?
I don't know if I would call it blurry. I don't know about that. I mean, you could say it's artistic. It's like artistic design, the glimmer of the lights, There it is. Yeah.
Oh my God! That's my living room. You just.
Oh, I just dox you? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Totally,
I'm sorry.
You didn't even censor out the eyes of all the mushrooms. Her identity is now out there.
It's my family.
Yeah. The kids.
I mean, if it was that big of an issue, you wouldn't have posted it on Twitter. Publicly. On a website,
It's to be honest, it's not a big issue. It's fine.
Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah, so there was that. Not much in the world of wrestling. This is going to be kind of a laid-back show. Yeah.
There must have been something that happened this week. I feel like we're going to say that one of these slow news weeks, I guess, and then going to catch up on like the Observer or whatever, and it's going to be all sorts of fun stuff with, I don't know, Corey Graves apologizing tomorrow, or Tony Khan announcing that he's signed. I don't know who's out there. Teddy Hart just got fired, so yeah, maybe he's the new signing for AEW. There's going to be some kind of news.
I was going to say not ACH, because apparently he quit the business.
He quit the business, or no one will sign him?
No, MLW
like,
apparently signed him, and yeah, but just apparently today he had an outburst on Twitter again where he quit the business again. So I was like, all right. Well, I shouldn't say again, but he had another outburst. So, yeah.
Okay.
So should we get into the... I haven't seen SmackDown. None of us have seen SmackDown because we're not over 50 and fill out that demographic. But apparently the main event, I'm kind of glad I didn't see this here, was what looks to be Roman Reigns being tied up or handcuffed to the top ring rope, and he's like wrapped around the LED post on the outside with Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler dumping what looks to be, I think, dog food on top of him.
So it is. Look.
Yeah, there we go. There it is. There it is. There's a shot of it. Yeah, it's from WWE.com. Fox paid $1 billion for this show, by the way. I just like to point that out. I just like to remind people. This is what Fox paid $1 billion for. Also, good luck cleaning dog food or whatever off of the LEDs there. I don't envy that task. Whoever's got that chore.
I don't want to wash it out of my hair.
Yeah, that's the point.
Also a fair point, yeah.
I mean, dog food is just about the most disgusting thing that there is, and it stinks so bad.
Well, I can think of disgusting things.
I don't know. I think it smells just as bad going in as it does coming out.
Depends what type of... I think this is going to sound really weird.
Type of food. Right, okay.
You can't... well, we haven't got a dog anymore. When we did, when you opened the tin to feed it, there was a bit of a nice smell to it.
Really? Oh, you must have got him like the gourmet stuff.
It was... Yeah, well...
You treated your dog right.
Well, it's dead now, so... Maybe not.
I wasn't accusing you of that does happen.
Oh, well, there was a bit of a... Well, I wouldn't eat it, don't get me wrong, but it's like petrol. It smells nice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm with you on the petrol thing. Petrol and marker pens, definitely.
Yeah.
And
glue, actually.
I'm just looking at the photos here. I'm just like, what? Is that old
Who are those guys restraining?
I don't know. Let me go back to that there. That might
Corbin and his minions.
Yeah, that might have been Corbin's like caravan troop here.
Corbin's caravan?
Yeah.
Who are they?
Yeah, the people that hoist him on that the
oh yeah, on the sedan chair. Yeah. Okay. So he has creepers now. He is now the Dark Order.
Well, I don't know about that because he's not wearing a mask. He's not fat.
Well, I mean...
Oh.
No.
No, there's one photo here you're about to see.
Yeah, that was pretty gross.
Oh. Gross. So, Old Roy, it looks like, is the brand of dog food. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Old Roy.
Yeah.
Is that expensive dog food?
No. No, not at all.
No?
Not at all. Bray Wyatt tormenting The Miz on Miz TV.
Well, at least you know the big dog eats.
So there was no sign of Brian, apparently. Let's see. Because apparently last week's episode ended with The Fiend coming out, grabbing Brian through the ring, and just apparently insinuated they tore all his hair off.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
I thought it was actually.
Oh, like this. Brian has been nowhere to be found. Well, that's great. Have you sent out an Amber Alert for him? Or anything like that?
Has anyone asked Brie?
Yeah.
Just, do you know where he is?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, she might know.
White suggested that Brian was possibly still with him, and they no longer believe Brian would be able to play with him for the Universal title at TLC. With that in mind, White challenged Miz to a match at TLC before ominously displaying
What's
a picture.
going on over there?
What are you doing?
Freaking something.
The cat wanted out, so I had to open the door for him.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. How big is your cat?
Pretty big. He's like a miniaturized jaguar.
Yeah. We
So
didn't run down the last pay-per-view. We're talking about TLC, and we haven't even
Oh, yeah, you want to get into
worked
that?
out who predicted what.
Sure, let's get into
I'll
that.
do it quickly, because, it's
Go ahead.
2 weeks ago now. No one really cares.
Yeah.
Two matches were added.
It's not like the results mattered anyway, sorry.
Well, I don't know. I disagree. Just a little. 2 matches added to the pre-show. We had a big tag team battle royal, which was totally unfair. By the way, it was 10 teams across 3 brands. So Raw and NXT had 3 teams each. SmackDown had 4.
Oh yeah,
It's unfair. And a triple threat for the Cruiserweight Championship. I think that was the other one added, right? Yeah. Anyway, so let's just lump all these together. We predicted the same things. Lesnar winning, Fiend winning, Cole winning. We all predicted Lio Rush to win, so that's points all round for that. We predicted wrongly on the Tag Champions 3-way. I thought New Day, you went for Undisputed Era, but no. It was the Viking Raiders who won that. And the mid-card title, me and Will thought Styles would win. Smoot and Beans thought Nakamura, but Roderick Strong sneaked away with that one. What separated us was Smoot got a point for the Battle Royal, Raw winning that one. Me and Smoot got a point for Shayna Baszler winning the women's 3-way. I got a point for the men's Survivor Series tag, SmackDown winning, and in the end, that put Beans and Will joint last, 4 out of 10. And then me on 6 and Smoot on 7. That was a hell of a night for you.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
So actually, I think that's a fairly big deal, because going into this, you were on 45, Will was on 46. Now Will's on 50, and you're on 52.
Oh!
Are not in last for the first time in about 3 years.
Yeah!
And then I'm ahead on 63, cutting Beans' lead to 2. He's on 65. He was 4 ahead going in. So it's good. I'm happy with that result.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm.
We'll have the results updated next time or whatever, because I don't have the sheet and whatnot on hand. So we'll fix that next time for sure. Get it updated. But yeah, yeah.
There was also a Starcade show. I don't know if anyone watched Starcade.
No.
No.
Well, then again, apparently people did, because it crashed the WWE Network and they had to put the show on YouTube.
Oh, I did read that. Yeah.
So apparently people were watching it, or maybe it was just like a typical network fuck up. Because ever since they redesigned the WWE Network, I've had nothing but issues with it.
Apparently, the free network is launching this week.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
It's already up.
Yeah, well, some people have seen certain things that if you're not paying for it, you see on like YouTube videos that would show them up on the network, which is basically what you're going to get, really. It's just the free YouTube stuff, which I don't really see the point if you can get on, unless they're taking it off YouTube.
Right. I think that might be what they're doing, is just hosting it off of YouTube and then just disguisingly linking it onto their service or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how ad revenue would work with that, but yeah, sure. Whatever.
I did see another report. I didn't read it fully, but the long and short of it was, they now think that in terms of revenue, they would have made more sticking with traditional pay-per-view.
Ha!
So yeah, well done.
Well, that was always going to be true for a little while.
Yeah.
Right? That until it kind of got up and running. But I think by now it should have been. Well, it's just losing viewers all the time, isn't it? It's losing subscribers. It never really caught on like it was supposed to.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, probably shouldn't say this on the air, but there's at least 5 people using my account. So, God knows how many people doing the same thing. They don't want to share an account.
Yeah.
No, but then Netflix is doing really well, and the same thing happens there. It seems like you get enough people, and it's kind of all right.
Well, Disney Plus just kicked up, so I mean.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing with that?
Well, they're kicking us off us, aren't they? They're actually blocking people.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they're making a big deal of it.
Well, because it's Disney.
Netflix keeps threatening to, but then they never actually do anything.
Like, all right, guys, come on. No account sharing. For reals this time.
But then with the account, I mean, all you got to do is get another email address and you get a free month anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
So...
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have to sign up with a new card every time, new credit card?
No, because you can put in that you're going to pay on one of them gift cards.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, one of those $9.99 card gimmicks or whatever.
Yeah.
Available
so you don't actually
Walmart.
need a... Oh, God.
Yeah. It does ask you, but then there's a way around saying you're going to pay with one of them. And then prepaid cards.
Yeah.
You say, I will. Honest, I will pay. One day. Just let me in for now.
Getting off the subject of how to get around established media. Well,
it's their own loophole. Like,
it's true.
Well,
it's true.
Honestly,
I'm with you. If it was like that big of a problem, they would have had it patched by now, or fixed.
Oh, good.
Well, I don't know, because I mean that's WWE, right? But there is a huge problem. They know all about it. They know exactly what the problem is and how to solve it. They just don't. It's been that way for 20 years. Yeah. You know exactly what's wrong. Just
still keep.
Yeah, that's what we do.
They still keep steel chairs at ringside under the ring. You're absolutely right on that. What else happened here? Alexa Bliss defeated Mandy Rose on SmackDown. Elias and Dana Brooke embarrassed Drake Maverick. Okay. Revival defeated Mustafa Ali and Shorty G, Heavy Machinery, and the Lucha House Party in a fatal 4-way tag team elimination match to earn a SmackDown Tag Team Championship opportunity at TLC. That's a mouthful. Bayley and Sasha retaliated against Lacey Evans, and the main event. That was the main event. Roman Reigns and Dolph Ziggler. Are you shitting me? Before King Corbin came out and dumped dog food on him. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm glad I didn't fucking tune into this shit.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that myself.
Again, $1 billion was paid for this show between networks. I
still feel like I need to be catching up on it, though.
I mean, I'll probably watch it just to see what I missed, but oh man, that's no wonder they're winning the over 50 demo.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think old people like this stuff?
Because they are probably asleep by around 8 o'clock and forget to change the channel.
I mean that. I guess that gets counted. Yeah. Wasn't TNA surviving on that for a little while?
I think so.
Because they were on after like UFC or something, really late. Something popular, yeah. Was it Cops? I think it was Cops.
Yeah, probably.
Something popular, and then people just left it on.
Well, yeah, whatever. Just have it as noise in the background. On Raw, which I did watch.
Because apparently, just going back, apparently on SmackDown, that women's match was at Alexa and Mandy Rose. I can't remember her name now. Is it Jessica, the women's ref from NXT?
Oh, yeah.
She made a main roster debut.
Yeah, she was called up. I saw that. But it just, on the notes here, Will, it just simply says Bayley and Sasha retaliated against Lacey Evans. Doesn't say anything about Alexa Bliss or anything like that. I'm just going off of what WWE.com is saying to me.
Oh, really? There it is, the top.
Oh, right there. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I said, no, I did that. I mentioned that. That was the first thing I said.
Yeah, I'm just going back to it.
Oh. My bad.
You too.
My bad. I thought you
That's
were...
cool.
Never mind. It's whatever. Right, Raw. Did you guys watch that?
I haven't seen anything this week. I'm totally blind this week.
All right, Raw.
What have you been doing all week?
Busy, working, stuff.
Busy preparing for the upcoming election. Been doing research, reading manifestos.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, that's what you've been doing.
Wait,
You're the
real?
one.
Wait, for real? Is that happening over there? Is the Brexit?
Yeah,
thing?
we've got an election coming up.
Yeah,
was
election.
on Thursday.
Really?
Yeah, Thursday coming. Yeah.
Wow, that's all right.
If this was proper radio, we wouldn't be allowed to talk about it, but as it's not, we can.
We wouldn't be able to talk about it?
No, you're not allowed to mention, you're allowed to say there's an election.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to express any kind of opinion.
Okay, well, we haven't done that yet. That's...
No. Vote Paris.
Okay.
No,
Damn
don't
it,
do
you're
that.
gonna get us
Don't.
kicked off YouTube.
Yeah. I know. Oh, also, I forgot to mention the show's not intended
minions.
for children under 13 because of the cop.
Oh wait, then we don't get any ad revenue.
No,
Do
it's
we
not.
get-
No, it's not intended. It's not. I don't know if we get ad rev. I haven't seen a dime.
Isn't there like a massive catch-22 with that? That like you don't get ad revenue if it's adult, but you can't say anything if it's not.
Well, if you mark it as if you mark videos or your channel as intended for children 13 and under, you basically it's really weird. It's almost as if you're an adult site or something because you don't your subscriptions don't get notified through a notification box. Your comments are turned off. You earn 90% less ad revenue. It's a swift kick in the balls, basically.
Yeah.
You might as well just. It's honestly ridiculous because they're trying to be like, think of the children and all this horse shit, but in a way, it's you're looking down upon because a lot of people in the adult industry, are it's taboo. It's a sort of taboo thing. Instead of YouTube, they have to go to Pornhub or some other website to post their content onto. It's it is a massive catch-22. You're right. Yeah, in a way. And that supposedly, and I think we're coming up on it. The deadline to convince the FTC, hey, this seems a little harsh. Could you possibly tone it down a bit? That's supposed to be wrapping up in a couple of days, to where they'll possibly reconsider some of the workings and whatnot. Otherwise, January 1st, 2020, you're probably going to see a different YouTube. So.
I hope we actually see a different YouTube. D-Live, probably not, but whoever it is, there's got to be a new one.
Maybe.
Problem is, no one ever uses a second version of anything.
That's true.
No one will ever use a secondary Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or anything.
Well, I mean, there was MySpace, and
never
Facebook
happens.
became the new MySpace.
Yeah.
And then a monster after that. Where Mark Zuckerberg is pretty much a robot.
Or an alien. He's weird. Something weird with that guy.
Yeah. So for the record, we're not targeting children. Just wanted to put that out there.
We're not targeting anyone.
Yeah. We're a general audience program. Just like to throw that out there in case anybody from the government stumbles upon this. So. I think
Yeah, they're big fans.
I think Will or Beans, whoever operates the channel, has to like mark the channel as like.
It does keep asking me to do something. I'll just keep ignoring it.
Well, I wonder what's gonna happen on January if you keep ignoring it. Like, hey,
Ignorance is bliss.
Supposedly the algorithm, just to get back on this for a little bit, supposedly the algorithm's been like automatically marking videos and whatnot, which I assume is probably what's going to happen. But honestly, I don't know if a child's going to be, interested in a spreadsheet full of words and albeit a tad of color,
No, but the over 50s will.
Yes, we'll be nailing the over 50 demo for sure with that.
Unless we start talking about AEW. Apparently,
no, yeah.
the teens are definitely down with AEW.
Yeah, speaking of AEW, did you guys watch it this week? Because
I haven't seen anything this week.
Right. Right. I forgot about that. Keep forgetting about that.
If you've got any questions about the election, those will be covered.
That is quite scary. I've actually seen more election-based stuff than I have wrestling.
Oh, wow.
The promos are better.
Much better.
Yeah.
Wins and losses matter, man.
Yeah, it's like hell they do.
Do you know, if the rules are really... I was listening to some guy on the radio the other day, and he was saying what I said before, about you're not allowed to express any kind of opinion. Mm-hmm. Said, but the newspapers over here are. It's kind of weird. It's like, you're not allowed to say anything about, what he's done or what this person's done or that person's done, but a newspaper can basically say, this guy's a prick. And put a picture of him and everything. And it's just really outdated rules that need changing, but never have been.
They all sneak it through. Like, there was... I don't know if I mentioned, there was a picture on the BBC website of, it was just after the election was announced. And it was like just during Halloween, like the week of Halloween or whatever. And they had a picture of Boris Johnson sat in a school classroom with two kids either side of a table scooping out a pumpkin. And the caption was, a Halloween pumpkin without the brains. Like, how can you say that? How is that okay? Like, we can all see what you're implying there.
Yeah.
He's a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, he has no brain, and he's a pumpkin. Well, okay, I guess.
So some of the main takeaways is I don't know, like, it seems like AEW just has matches just for the sake of having matches, and there's no real story behind them. That's kind of like what been my biggest complaint about the product so far for AEW. It's not bad. Like, the matches that they have aren't bad or anything. It's just I don't care, and I was hoping like the win-loss record would play more into that, Like, if this person gets a win, they'll be in line into the rankings or whatever, or get a title shot because of it. But no, it's just like, here's these people having matches.
What matches have you got in mind there? Because I know I definitely feel that about the women's division.
The women's division's a big, definitely big violator of that.
But most other things, it seems like if they do a random match like that, there's usually something coming out of it, even if there isn't anything going into it.
Well, this week it was like Trent Beretta and Rey Fenix just having a match.
Are they not building up a tag feud there? Because they had Rey Fenix with one of the Bucks as well a couple of weeks ago.
I guess.
Seems like there's something going on there.
But the shot that they got of Orange Cassidy just looking restless on the side, it was pretty much my interpretation of the match. I was like, it's the same, buddy, same. I just don't really care.
Did you see Orange Cassidy's interview with Bill Apter?
No, I have not. I assume
it's exactly what you think.
Just a lot of non-responses and him giving like a thumbs up, probably.
Just like one-word responses. Like, what are your thoughts on Chris Jericho? He's good. What about Cody? Yeah, we're good.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Just the women's division. Yeah, it is a big proponent of that. The cat's back in here, by the way. If you couldn't hear.
I heard a meow.
Yeah. You want to say hi? Say hi. No, it doesn't want to say anything now. Of course.
Oh, what?
Of course.
Everyone's shy when they get on the mic.
Yeah. Yeah. This week in particular, like Nyla Rose came off of like a long hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
Has a match with Leva Bates, who's now I think 0-4 or 0-5, something like that, something crazy.
Yeah.
She power bombs the ref through a table. Rick Knox.
And this was during an ad break.
Yeah, this was during a commercial break.
The whole segment was during an ad break.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It was a side by side thing. Power bombs the ref through a table, and then Shannon, who came out to help, also gets power bombed on top of the ref, which was honestly a great spot. It's a great spot and really establishes her as like a beast sort of character. So it was great. I had no problem with it. It was during a commercial break, which was kind of like, whoa, this is for something like a big spot like that. It's getting downplayed because it's during a commercial is kind of, I don't know, crazy to me. And B, it only got mentioned I think once on the actual show itself. It wasn't like, you know, for those just joining us or if you didn't see it during the break, here's what happened. You know, It was like I think somebody was coming out, and then Excalibur mentioned that Nyla Rose was indefinitely suspended, and
Oh, really?
yeah, or something like that.
I didn't hear that bit.
Yeah, apparently
Definitely suspended.
Yeah, it's apparently suspended without pay for the remainder of the year. Is what the actual.
Oh, pfft.
Yeah.
3 weeks. She's got a Christmas holiday.
Right. Exactly.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's not indefinitely suspended. That's definitely suspended.
So that happened. There was also, what was it?
I mean, hang on, because they
Go
said
ahead.
they've got a show on the 18th.
Yeah.
Jericho said he's got a match on the last show of the year on the 18th.
Yeah.
So that means there's 2 shows left this year.
Yep.
Nyla Rose has been suspended for 2 shows.
Yeah.
All right. The stakes aren't that high.
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
saying.
And then they had
One more breath.
what was it? Chris Statlander versus Sheeta, right?
Oh yeah, she's an alien now.
Yeah. Why is she an alien? I don't understand that. Why is Chris Statlander from another galaxy? Like, I don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with an alien gimmick and trying to intimidate Aubrey Edwards with her finger. Like, that was great. That was fun. That was fun. That was great. But I don't understand why. Like, there's got to be some character development here, and you can't just do that by having matches. You know.
I want to know how she got here from the Andromeda Galaxy.
Yeah. Exactly.
And why she decided to become a professional wrestler.
Exactly. See, those are the questions I would like to have to get behind these characters and whatnot, instead of focusing on like Moxley, Jericho, all these other people and whatnot. Shine the light on
If you
some other
think
people.
about it,
Yeah.
If you think about it, the person most likely to travel to another galaxy is going to be like an astronaut, physicist, probably astrophysicist, some kind of whatever, right?
Yeah.
So even if the Andromeda Galaxy, whatever planet she comes from, is full of professional wrestlers, she's going to be like the nerdy one. She's not even like the best combat athlete from her galaxy.
Maybe.
She's the one most likely to travel into... So she's like a nerd. This is like sending Stephen Hawking to fight in another galaxy.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe she was a tough person in her galaxy and she crash landed here. Something
But
happened.
why is she... I'm saying, you wouldn't send the toughest person into space.
I don't know.
You would send the one that's like the best pilot or the best scientist.
Maybe she was the best wrestler.
Why did you send your best wrestler out into space?
I don't know.
Like, if we were going to go
to
the Andromeda Galaxy.
Clearly.
I'd say if we were to send someone to Andromeda, or whatever planet in Andromeda, you wouldn't send Conor McGregor. Actually, I would quite like to send Conor McGregor to Andromeda, but you wouldn't send Floyd Mayweather or Anthony Joshua or whatever.
I would.
Right?
I would send Floyd Mayweather out into space, yeah.
Okay, so maybe she's just a massive bitch and they just sent her to Earth to get rid of her.
Maybe. See, this is what I'm talking about. Character development.
She's too violent for the Andromeda galaxy. That's what it should be. She got banished from Andromeda because she's too good of a wrestler.
Yeah. She's the best. I told you.
She's the best. She's too damn good.
So yeah,
Okay.
So Statlander and Sheeta had a match, and Statlander got the win. But immediately after, I think, did the lights go out or something like that? I think the lights went out. Brandy and Awesome Kong.
The lights went out at least 5 times on this show.
Yeah, something like that. Brandy and Awesome Kong came out, and then pretty much turned their gimmick into like a modern day straight edge society.
I was going to say shaving the head.
Yeah, they were confronting Statlander, which I mean, Awesome Kong versus Chris Statlander. I'm all for it, sure, but before they did anything with Statlander, like some quote unquote fan ringside was trying to get Brandy's attention. Pretty much, the fan offered up her hair, and they were cutting her hair. And this was another side by side commercial break where they were just cutting the hair during a commercial. And it's just considering that the Dark Order also had a promo before this to like remind you, like, hey, join our cult.
Yeah, that's true.
This seems like a bit much, you know?
Basically the same thing.
One cult too many, yeah.
One cult too many. How many cults is too many? This is another one I thought... It does always suck when you're trying to shave someone's head on live TV.
Yeah.
And it never goes right.
Yeah.
But it also seemed like too big of a thing to be done during an ad break.
Yeah.
And they should have made more of it when they came back.
Yeah. Also, Cody Rhodes, who had a promo, was just mainly focused on MJF, and was offering like all sorts of valuables to.
He went full Ric Flair.
He did. I'm surprised he didn't bring Brandy out and just be like, "You want my wife? Have my wife. Take my wife, please." You know, something like that. Yeah, he was just offering everything. But the main problem with that was he really didn't focus too much on the Butcher and the Blade that took him out last week. His whole concern was just MJF.
That's true.
And,
he did mention them at the start, but
yeah,
that wasn't his main concern.
Yeah, which I don't know. For a new group, even though, and this is just again, the Butcher and the Blade, the only group that Excalibur has ever heard of and knows like backstory on within the company.
So they've never done. I know that Ali has been an evil bunny before.
Yeah.
On the Indies.
Right.
But the other guys aren't the Butcher and the Blade, right? They've never done that anywhere else.
I don't know.
Because they were Andy Williams and like Eggman or whatever. Isn't that right? And
I guess I know one of them is Braxton Sutter, who's
right. Yeah.
married to Ali. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. So the other guy,
mm-hmm.
Andy Williams, is the guy that looks like Robotnik.
With the monocle, yeah, probably.
Yeah. I just can't believe this guy exists, and we've got Jim Carrey playing Robotnik.
Right? It's a valid point. But I just the whole thing.
But they've never played these characters before. Is my point. Butcher and the Blade. It sounds kind of cool, I guess. But if they've never done it before, then how does Excalibur know that that's who they are?
Maybe they're from a different. Maybe they've done
Galaxy.
Galaxy, yeah. No, maybe they're from a different organization that he just happens to know. I guess I don't know. I honestly don't know. The fact that he was able.
Oh God! I've just searched for Butcher and Blade wiki, and it's come up with a butcher's knife.
Ha!
No, that's not who I want. An actual butcher's blade.
Yeah. Good luck trying to search that. You know.
And now I'm searching Butcher Blade Wrestling, and it's come up with blading in professional wrestling. Choosing gigging or getting color.
That's great.
Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah, it just the the whole thing about it. Like, okay, you have Allie, who was attacked by Awesome Kong and had her part of her hair cut off because of that whole ordeal that they're having over there. Um, that happened like a couple weeks ago, and now all of a sudden she has a tag team stable of the Butcher and the Blade that Excalibur just magically happens to know. Jim Ross was confused by all means.
He usually is.
Yeah,
Sure.
very true. Surely this would have been like some sort of tie-in to like, okay, Cody's wife, attacked me, so I'm going to bring two guys to attack her husband, sort of thing. Nope. Let's not make any sort of crossover whatsoever. Let's just have stuff just coming out of the ring. Let's just introduce people that nobody knows who they are, where they're from, and whatnot. And that's just kind of like the main problem with AEW. I feel is just things happen, but they don't happen for a reason, and that's something that like TNA was like a violator of back in the day as well. Like stuff happens. Sure, wrestling matters, but stuff also happens with no reason, no rhyme or reason whatsoever. And they're kind of veering down the same path. I feel. And granted, we're 10 weeks into this whole like Wednesday Night War thing, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's just AEW is good, but I don't. If they would fix a few things, audio being one of them, apparently this week as well. They could be the A show, I feel, but I think people are kind of coming off of that high right now, and they kind of like gotta fucking hunker down and get their shit together. In my opinion, those are just some of my thoughts.
The novelty is wearing off.
Yeah,
that's for sure, and I don't know if they've got enough to keep the interest just yet. I definitely see what you mean there. And it kind of sucks because whenever they do the storyline stuff, they have the promos.
Mm-hmm.
They're always good.
Yeah.
Even the Dark Order, who no one cared about, those three things they've done with the cult stuff, it's not amazing, but it's fine. It's good enough.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was with. Who was it that Moxley just called a kid? Was that Janela?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that was. But even that was, I don't know, it's funny. I don't really get it, but fine. Yeah. Seems like whenever they do anything, it's always a hit. But instead, they just do wrestling matches because, and that's what they need to do less of. I think less dives, fewer like apron bumps. The same.
Yeah.
Because everything's always like the fast-paced match, which is good, but I don't need 2 hours of it.
Yeah. Going back to that, since you brought up Jericho, like last week's show ended with Moxley coming down the audience.
Yeah.
Coming through the crowd and whatnot, and just standing there for a little bit as the show ended with Jericho in the ring after having a match. This time, after Jericho cut a promo with his new lexicon, it's no longer a list.
It was just not the list, yeah.
A lexicon of people.
It's not actually a lexicon either.
Yeah, no, it's not. Of people who are just not going to get a title shot. He listed Moxley about like 50 different times, which was great.
That was the joke. Yeah. Jericho's basically a greatest hits album at this point. And this was the armbar joke again.
Yeah.
This is the list gimmick with the armbar joke.
Armbar, yeah. I feel like having Moxley, intervene and just be like, yo, I want a title shot, would have been best suited right there, rather than repeating the same spot, but only with like the roles reversed. Moxley's fighting Janela for, again, some reason, don't know why. Great match, just I don't know why I should get behind it, that's the whole problem. And then afterwards, Jericho was the one coming down through the crowd. But at least the show ended with the Judas song playing, which I've kind of grown away into. A little bit.
Yeah, Jericho's still been great.
Yeah.
Everything he does. So, it's a funny guy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want AEW to be better. That's been my main thing. I just want them to be better.
I think there's got to be something to be said that I don't know. I'll ask you because I've got an idea. But if you were to choose the 3 best guys in AEW, like everything they do, kind of total package style, who would your top 3 be?
Just overall great.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I think Jericho would be in there. Moxley would be in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Adam Page would be number 3 as well.
Really, Adam Page?
Yeah.
See, I would have put Cody in there.
Nah. Cody could be number 4.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I'll take 3 of the 4. But I think it's telling that those 3 guys, my top 3, have all spent significant time in WWE.
Yeah.
And I don't like. There's so much wrong with WWE. And we've complained about it for 5 years now.
Yeah.
6 years now, I think. But there's obviously something that they're doing right. It's that kind of sell what you're doing, focus on your catchphrase or your line, or always focus on the next match, or always look at the hard camera. That kind of production stuff that they just hammer in, probably too far.
Yeah.
They highlight too much. But I think it works to a degree. They do it for a reason. And seeing a lot of the other guys who just do stuff just to do stuff, loads of flips and dives and whatever, don't really play the character all that well, don't promote their stuff that well. Like, I don't know who Joey Janela is. I don't know why I'm supposed to care. Darby Allin's getting over. That's great. Jungle Boy's great.
He's the bad
but
boy.
They're not. Yeah, but you know what I mean? They're not. There's nothing really there. They don't seem like TV stars like those other guys do.
Right. And that's
I don't know.
Why I'm kind of like, they need to build some of these characters up and get people to kind of care about them, like they do with like a Moxley, a Cody, a Jericho, stuff like that.
I just think if you could send the whole AEW roster to spend a couple of years in NXT or to the Performance Center and then back to AEW instead of the main roster, I think we could be on something.
AEW invades WWE's
Performance Center.
It's just them in like promo class and just like being coached upon.
Yeah,
great. I kind of want that now.
Go train under Matt Bloom for a while. Yeah.
That'd be great.
I just think a lot of them would learn some really important stuff.
Yeah,
like the basics that WWE uses. There's nothing beyond the basics on the main roster.
Yeah,
but those things are obviously really important for certain things.
Yeah, like also not putting over Billy Gunn in a battle royal. That'd be like numero uno of things to be trained upon. I still can't get
over that. And I don't know that he's the right guy, but AEW having a legend, I think maybe DDP is the guy, but having someone to play that kind of grizzled vet role, I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah.
Billy Gunn's probably not the guy. Jericho could be the guy. Yeah. DDP was great in his role.
Yeah.
Billy Gunn, I mean, he's always going to be Mr. Ass, so maybe it's not him. Can you imagine if William Regal was still active and he was on the roster?
Oh, yeah.
God, he'd be great.
Oh, yeah. He'd be tremendous. Will, is there anything you want to chime in on? Sorry.
No, I'm totally out to the AEW, so...
Oh, okay.
I don't really know what's happening. Kind of on topic / off topic. Billy Gunn's actually appearing at Comic-Con in Cardiff next Sunday.
Oh, good for him.
Are you going to go meet him?
No.
Are you still his webmaster?
I think so.
I think so.
Hi, Billy. I'm your current webmaster for your website.
I've been doing your website for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I've got a website?
Yeah. You'd probably be like, you don't run my Twitter.
I don't know if he's generally. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I don't know if he's generally short of money. Because every now and then you see some like random stuff for sale on his Facebook.
Oh, really?
He was
like selling his actual stuff.
Yeah, he was selling
Ring-worn.
some old ring-worn trunks the other week. And what did he have a couple of months ago? It was all WWE Network branded gear.
Oh, yeah. I suppose
Like jackets and stuff. And yeah, maybe he's getting rid of it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
Probably.
so. I don't think he's like hard up for money just because he wants to get rid of some of the stuff that he has.
It just, yeah, well, no, I'm only joking there. Obviously, he's not sure.
you never know with 90s wrestlers. You just never know.
Look at Virgil.
Oh, God. Soul Train Jones.
Soul Train Jones.
No, I don't think he's short of a few quid, but yeah, it just seemed really weird. Some random stuff every now and then on his Facebook. It's his real Facebook as well because it's Kip Shop.
Yeah.
So it's definitely him. But yeah, it's crazy. Sorry, that's what.
So if you ever wanted some Mr. Ass gear with the lips on the butt,
Yeah,
then, that's where to go.
that's where to go. That's where you get it.
There you go. On Raw, I'm just kind of going back in order here.
I did read that they've finally sacked Dio Madden.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christ for that.
Apparently,
Hey, what? They fired Dio Madden?
Well, they've not fired him. They kicked him off the announce table. He's gone back to NXT
yeah,
as a wrestler.
Man.
quote
I
unquote,
wanted him
he
to
wants
wrestle
be,
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he wants to be a wrestler. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, he's gone back to train for his big fight with Lesnar.
Yeah, he's gonna go back to the Performance Center and get himself jacked to face the Beast incarnate.
Well, I hope we get some videos of that, because if they just bring that up like 6 years from now, it's not going to mean the same.
Yeah, it's true. Like,
I mean, if he is generally training and he does eventually make it on the main roster, they've got to use that somehow.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
How long do you think it's going to take for him to?
Well, at least 2 years.
Oh, I mean, at least 2 years. Like Johnny Gargano's been in NXT for longer than that, and he was ready when he started.
I'm going off on a tangent here, but did you hear what Tommaso Ciampa said about if he was ever called up full time?
Did he basically say like, "God no, please don't do that"?
Basically, yeah. He said he'd retire.
Right answer.
Fair enough, I suppose.
So Samoa Joe is filling in for Dio.
He's been really. I know I didn't see this week, but the week or so before, and he was really good.
Yeah, he was like a natural. It seemed like.
Yeah.
Supposedly his next checkup is on the 30th, and then we'll see what happens from there. But yeah,
he was like every kind of, what would you say, like quick-witted, well-spoken commentator guy who knows what he's talking about and can deliver a line and has some kind of aura in the 3 or 4 weeks before Vince breaks them down and makes them crap.
Yeah, true. You reminded me a little bit of when CM Punk did the announcing for a little bit.
Right, yeah, I was going to say, like, he could probably be like Taz one day and actually do the announcing thing and be okay at it.
Yeah.
But maybe wait until Vince isn't around anymore.
But he's going to, as you say, he's getting a checkup on is it his thumb, is it, or something?
Yes. Some sort of ligament in his thumb, yeah.
Yeah. Which you think would be a major thing, would you? But
just take
I
that
guess
up
not.
and cast it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, he has like a
Oh.
cast on his hand. Yeah. It's
But you
like
can't wrestle in that?
It's like, I guess not. It's like a permanent thumbs up pose, though, from what I've seen.
Well, what was God? Who was he? Umaga?
Yeah.
With
Simone-
the Simone
so the
Spike.
Simone
Yeah.
Spike. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just do that. Yeah. With the
He
cast.
could be Umaga. He's Samoan as well.
So he would just never talk anymore? That's like Samoa Joe's biggest selling point.
That's true.
That taped thumb like a steel spike. No, it's not. It's not like a steel spike.
And I don't actually. I mean, I know obviously he's a great wrestler and all that, but I don't want him back now. I want him to stay on commentary.
I can wait. I can
Really?
survive with. Yeah. Just bring up someone else who's good. Bring up Nigel McGuinness or someone.
Yeah, here's the point.
I think we're missing him in the ring too much to let him go.
Yeah. No, yeah. There's probably plenty of better, as good as, if not better. But
And there's 20 years post wrestling that he can do this for. More. He's got a long commentary career ahead of him. If that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, true.
Some other takeaways. Kevin Owens defeated Bobby Lashley via disqualification, and then Lashley and Lana were arrested after the match.
Oh yeah.
Which
Why?
I don't know. Supposedly there's this
Well, Rusev breached the
90
thing, right?
Yeah, the 90-yard mile day restraining order, which we never mentioned how much of a botch that was from Lana.
Apparently that was. I don't know whether to believe Big Dave on this one, but he says that the script actually had her botching the line.
Nope.
She was supposed to say 90 miles instead of 90 yards.
Nope.
But she actually botched the line by saying 90 days.
Yeah.
Because she watches too much 90 Day Fiance or something. And then got the botch right by saying 90 miles, and then Lashley corrected her. So that was a mess. They also used their real names on them when they flashed up the restraining order.
Piece of paper, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta make it look like a shoot. And they also, on that episode, they misspelled earlier tonight.
Oh, yeah!
Because I pointed that out.
Yeah.
God.
All the thing was clever. Like the guy posing as like a serving lawyer or whatever was pretty great. Like, hey, I'm a big fan, Rusev. Come here, I want an autograph. Here, you've been served. Like that is tremendous. But all I saw in the little corner was the misspelling of earlier tonight. I was like, oh.
They do the same thing with whoever it was arresting Rusev, or I can't even remember what the segment was, but I remember someone saying, I'm a big WWE fan, I know exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
I'm watching every week.
Yeah, that was the detective and whatnot.
Yeah, right.
It was I don't know. It seemed
I don't know.
that whole ordeal seemed like hinting on like racism a little bit, of like people just arresting a black man for no reason. But let's make one of the cops black so that we can't like have that point being drawn up and whatnot, you know?
At least he didn't shoot on him.
Yeah, stand his ground and all that shit. Yeah. Cause like technically they arrested him for no reason. Like all Lashley did was bump one of the officers, which I guess is technically enough to be considered assault if you wanted to be that petty. But like even then, the guy saying like, "I'm a WWE fan. We do things a little different down here." You know, seems a little on the fence there, if you ask me. Oh, also, another thing we forgot to mention, Sheamus last week had a promo on SmackDown. Apparently he's returning at some point.
About time, really.
I guess. I mean, they've got something for him.
Not a Sheamus fan?
I don't know. see. I'm trying to pull up that typo real fast. Here we go. There we go. They actually went back and fixed it, believe it or not. That's the correct spelling, but here.
They're obviously following you.
Yeah, clearly.
Track.
Hey, this guy pointed out a typo. We gotta fix it. So, there you go. What else happened? Drew back. This is another show that's just having matches for the sake of having matches. There's no real build or rhyme or reason behind it. McIntyre defeated Akira Tozawa and challenged Randy Orton. OC interrupted, and their confrontation started a brawl. Aleister Black defeated Tony Nese. Just, keep doing great with just burying 205 Live talent, so there's that. Andrade defeated Eric Young for some reason. Kyle Busch then pinned R-Truth in the Crowd to win the 24/7 championship. Kyle Busch being a NASCAR driver. I didn't like how Michael Waltrip took forever to show that he was wearing a referee outfit, but to each their own. Eric Rowan defeated No Way Jose. Just another night of squashes. One of the Jose buds, if you will. I almost called him a rosebud. I know. Was trying to peep inside the pet carrier that Rowan's carrying around. What do you think he's got inside?
Nothing.
Rambling Rabbit.
Rambling Rabbit. Somebody said Luke Harper's contract, which I think is probably the best guess.
And he's adding 6 more months to it.
Personally, I want it to be a literal camera.
It's just a camera.
Like a TV camera, yeah. WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Kabuki Warriors, defeated Charlotte Flair in a 1-on-2 handicap match. And then afterwards, after Charlotte lost, Charlie asked her, like, do you regret calling out the Kabuki Warriors 2-on-1? And Charlotte was just like, nope. And then walked off. Viking Raiders defeated Mark Sterling and Mitchell Lyons. And the main event, OC defeated United States Champion Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, and Humberto Carrillo in the main event. Yeah, that show was not great in the sense of, like, here's a bunch of squash matches and matches with no build whatsoever. So.
Doesn't sound like I missed a lot then.
No, not at all. This is also a show that is, well, I was going to say 2 weeks behind TLC, and there is nothing announced for TLC whatsoever. SmackDown, I think, is the only show so far with development on TLC by having 3 matches added to the card. So,
I did see a report on this. Apparently, it's Vince's new magic idea to not announce matches until very close to the event itself.
No, that's not how you do it.
Apparently, the network sign-ups shoot up on the weekend of a pay-per-view.
Yeah, because they're using all that fucking loophole shit that you guys were mentioning earlier.
So, his idea is that if you don't announce anything until the very last minute, people will sign up. Which is why you see a load of them when you on the days we missed quite a few matches in our prediction games. Because you see loads announced like an hour before the show starts.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's not how you get people to watch.
Well.
So what do you do on TV for all the weeks building up to it then?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh god, that's brutal. Just damn. I'll send you a link to a tweet here. Johnny Wrestling is coming. Not Johnny Wrestling. That's just, the other Johnny guy. John Morrison. He's back officially.
Yes.
He has announced it.
Is this?
I think they announced it on that backstage, didn't they?
Yeah. No, it's Ryan Satin's show, I think.
Well,
no, he's got like a segment.
Oh, a little segment on it. Okay.
But that's kind of weird in itself. He's a dead cheek guy, and they've got him on there.
Yeah.
What next, Chris Cash?
No, don't be crazy.
No. Yeah, it'd be good to see him back, I think.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's actually gone back to WWE, though. I thought he might be a nice fit for AEW.
Yeah, Johnny Dynamite, as we nicknamed him.
Yeah.
Now he's-
Fairly sure that's why they brought him back, just
Yeah.
so he couldn't.
So he couldn't.
And then he's just going to be Johnny No Build, probably.
Yeah, pretty much.
Reform the team, it was Miz.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's true.
Maybe.
This isn't doing anything. They could do
Oh.
that again. Be a
Mm.
bit of a waste, but
I can see them doing it for a bit, but can't see it lasting long.
bring back the threat sheet.
I am wondering if sorry, I was distracted with whatever Chuck's just linked me with, whatever that spot was. Sorry. CM Punk should be back on Backstage. He said he's 90% sure. I thought they would have had, considering they had Seth Rollins in studio, I was considering, I thought maybe they would have, like, Punk in there as well. But I guess, he didn't want to show up, so he was like, fuck it. Yeah. Whatever.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Much.
That's nothing to do with Rollins, which I don't blame him. Mauro Ranallo's back. So that's cool.
He got a standing ovation. I've seen the video going around Twitter.
Supposedly Corey Graves, apologized to him or something like that.
We've not talked about this, have we? We haven't been on since it happened.
Yeah.
No.
This might be controversial, but I don't see an awful lot wrong with what Corey Graves said.
It's very tricky because the person in question has mental issues.
Yeah, I get that, but yeah.
So you kind of have to be a little bit delicate with what you say. I think if it was if he was talking shit on maybe, I don't know, if Jim Ross was there, or if I don't know.
But
Tom Phillips, Tom Phillips could be another example. Vic
But
Joseph.
it's not as if he came out and said, "Oh, this Ronaldo is a load of shit. He's a waste of time." And all that.
Right. It was a fair criticism that we
Yeah.
we actually say about Corey Graves all the time.
Well, apparently it's come out since that he was told to say it, because it was when they were commentating, or when they were supposed to be at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Ronaldo was supposed to pull him up on it, and they were supposed to have a little bit of back and forth, supposedly to go along with the brand, the brand supremacy.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't happen that way because he took it seriously. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know he's got. I understand he's got issues and all that, but I just think
If you're going to do that job, you
way
have to be
further.
open to criticism.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And if he hadn't reacted bad, because he said he'd had a rough weekend or something, right? That he was already kind of down, and that made it worse. So on another week, if on a better week, would it have been okay?
Yeah.
It seems like that reaction was really the problem, not so much what he said. It was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he must get loads of tweets saying, you're a dick and, shut up and all this.
Well,
I think
it was because it was a colleague.
Yeah, well,
when JBL said it, it was it's a different thing too.
I suppose. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I kind of agree.
I mean, part of me wants to agree, but the other part of me is considering the source, it's you're being insulted by a guy who cheated on his wife for Carmella. So I mean,
Yeah, it's an ad hominem.
Yeah, sure, sure. But I mean,
I don't know. I've always liked Corey Graves, and I've never.
I've never had an issue with Corey Graves whatsoever, calling the shows and whatnot. It's just, it seemed very innocuous of a comment.
Yeah.
It wasn't it really wasn't knocking him personally, but again, it was somebody with with mental issues, that could just be enough to just, collapse them into like a really deep, dark place, apparently.
Yeah.
So does that mean... Because obviously he's going to get criticism, like Will said. He's on Twitter. He's a public figure. He's going to get that.
Oh, I love the way he calls matches, too. He's like, there's a lot of enthusiasm.
Well, I think that's my biggest problem with what Graves said, actually, that we don't need to hear more Beth Phoenix. When you've got Morrow there, we don't need to hear more Beth Phoenix over what Morrow's got to say.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Jesus. Well, Beth is like she's kind of like that weird Renee Young reactionary type
all the time.
Look out for the right hand on that one.
When they had those two together on like the Mae Young shows, I couldn't tell the difference.
Right.
No, my point is like, does Morrow's bipolar deal mean that he is beyond criticism? Because I mean that's just not possible.
No.
Or does it just mean that like his colleagues should know better?
Yes. I do think. Yeah. I do think if Corey Graves was like, hey, I'm gonna shoot like an angle on you on Twitter real fast. If you would give him like a heads up before knocking him, I think it would have been fine. I think everything would have probably been, avoided, if you will. But I think this was a honest reaction of an opinion that Corey had that he just shared with everybody, and one could take it the wrong way as like harsh criticism. Like I didn't see it as such. I think it was still kind of a dick thing to do, to just sort of like drag your colleagues on Twitter like that, but again, just consider the source,
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm just there's just that.
Yeah. They had a bit of beef between each other as well, didn't they, after that?
Did they?
Kind of. Corey Graves basically told Big Dave. No, it was the other guy.
Yeah. And Frank Shamrock. Like, you have my number.
Yeah. He wanted to call him and stuff, and
yeah.
Obviously he didn't.
That's just silly shit.
Yeah.
Anything else? I think we've killed an hour, right?
Yeah. I think we're over an hour now.
Yeah, hour 12. Yeah. Anything else before we get out of here?
No.
Good.
There we go.
Pretty much it.
Yeah,
we got pay-per-view next week. I can't believe it's come around so soon.
Well, yeah, because apparently the buy-ups or sign-ups get really, shoot up, a week or so before fucking pay-per-view time, according to Vince or whatever, or somebody reporting on that. I'm selling that. There's no fucking way that you get more signups just by announcing matches
late.
No. Like that. No.
Well, that though, when you're like 4 matches into the card, is anyone buying those anyway?
Sure.
I mean, it's kind of old school thinking anyway, thinking about pay-per-view buys rather than network subscriptions. But if you're going to buy a show, it's pretty much going to be on the main event.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Even when they're having like the pre-show matches happen and they just cut away for like, mid-match to like an advert of something of the show that they're already watching, that they probably have already bought or already know it's going to happen. Like who's the advertising audience to that?
I think you talking about doing the pre-shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because they do go out on YouTube, don't they? So
yeah, they go up on YouTube.
I think it's
all the other places and whatnot. Like
I think that's more for them, so that they people who haven't got the network can watch on them platforms.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you're advertising on YouTube or whatever with the mid-match promo for like, hey, come watch TLC. While the match is happening on the TLC pre-show, I think they're aware that the event is happening and such. If it was like, if it was on like, if the pre-shows were on TV somehow, like on USA Network or Fox or something like that, I could be a little bit more understanding because you're trying to like maybe capture somebody's interest that's like channel flipping or something like that. Hey, what's this wrestling stuff? Let me take a look. Oh, they're hitting each other with chairs. Not much has changed in 20 years. Then yeah, but like I don't know. It just seems kind of pointless to do that on the pre-show itself.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm kind of selling the whole like they get more signups by announcing the matches late. I suspect. But what do I know? So, yeah, that's next week. The prediction game would be next week. We'll have. I just realized I don't think I had the extra matches. Speaking of stuff that was late, I don't think I've had the late matches added to the spreadsheet, so we'll have that on there next week, and then we'll calculate all of the numbers, and hopefully we'll be right. And then who knows what will happen. So that's what we got to look forward to next week. I'm just glad the stream was able to be all right. I'm just glad that the internet's not as wonky as it was. So, anything else before we get out of here?
No, good.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us. Next week we'll have the TLC stuff, and hopefully you'll be able to join us and tune in. And here, before we go, got to do that. There we are.
That was late.
That was late. That's a cranberry pomegranate Mountain Dew, by the way. Got to do that at the top of the show. So, we'll be back next week. See you then. Take care. Good night, everybody.